In this video, we'll learn how to build a reusable component. Till now, we have used Salesforce standard reusable component like lightning card, layout items. But now we're gonna build our own reusable component, and step by step, we'll see how to build the reusable component. So first, let's go to our VS Code and create a component. And I'll create a component and give the name reusable component demo. Now our component is ready. So as I said, till now we have used Salesforce standard reusable components. So first see how they look and what they are. So let's go to the Google and type lightning card. So now once you type the lightning card, you will see the lightning hyphen card, the second one. First one is for Aura, second one is for LWC. As I select this, I can see there is a card and the description. Let's copy this code as it is, and one by one I'll explain. I'll copy this code and put in our component HTML. And now this is the reusable component in which we are calling the component name as lightning hyphen card. So this is the standard component Salesforce has given us. It says if you want some title, pass in the slot and pass the text, it will automatically render in the card title. If you pass some text, it will go in the body. If you pass something within the slot action, it will go on the right hand side top corner button. And if you pass something inside the footer, it will form a footer. So let's deploy this and see how it looks. And let's go to meta file, change this to true. And in the targets, we can reset targets. And you can write as many target as you want. But in our case, we can simply restrict it to lightning app page, but you can make it for the record page, home page, community, anywhere, okay, based on the need. But whenever you build reusable component, it's always good to add all the target like app page, home page, record page. So now our component is ready. I haven't done anything extra. I just copy paste the standard component. Just want to show you how it works. So let's go and deploy this. And we're gonna build the same kind of component, and I'll show you step by step how we can achieve the same structure, because in the previous video we already learned how the slot works. So this is the right time to understand that. And we will give this component name custom lightning card. Okay, so let's go and create another component, custom lightning card. So this is the component that we are creating. That's why I'm writing custom in front of it. So custom lightning card. Now the component is ready. Now what we're gonna do is, first thing, we need the card structure. So whenever you start building something reusable, always go to the lightning design system library and see is something already available there that I can reuse. I already explained what is lightning design system library. Go to Google, type lightning design system. It is a CSS library of Salesforce that gives you the standard look and feel of Salesforce component. So here you search for card, because we are building the card. I'm searching card here. And card, and its card here is coming. You just select this one, first option. Yeah. So here the card is coming, the same card, same sort of card that you are looking, title, button, body, and the footer. We can go and see which code we can take here. We can take the single action one that has the card like structure, then it has the header, it has the button, the footer we will add it. That's not an issue. So we'll copy this code. You can click this icon, copy the code, come back to our component that we are creating, and go to the HTML file and paste the code as it is. Okay, now what gonna do, we're gonna just format this out, and you can see the header tag is there. Just format the header tag, then we can go to this div tag and format this div tag, then pen, and we don't need icon in our case, so I'll remove the icon. Then we can format our header as well. Well, if you want your header clickable, let it be in the A tag, and all this formatting we are doing just to make our code readable. You can put in the formatter and can see that. So I just format this code right now, and we can deploy this code. But before deploying, because this is a reusable component, we're not gonna change anything in the meta file. We just gonna include or embed this component into our main component. I'll come here to our first component that we created, reusable component demo. Here I'm gonna call that component, and our component name is c hyphen custom hyphen component hyphen demo, and let's deploy this. Now it will deploy both the component, one the custom component demo and the component reusable component demo. Because in the custom component demo we already, this is custom lightning card, not the component demo. This is custom lightning card. Now let's deploy it. Anyhow, you see our previous push failed because the name was wrong. Now we are giving the correct name, custom lightning card. Now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh our main page and see whether we're able to see the two cards or not. Now at least we are getting the heading as well as the button. The footer is missing and the body is missing. We'll add that, and for that we'll go back to our VS Code. Now we have our, it is in custom lightning card.html. we have our text, and we don't need this bigger because we are not building a component that will take the icon. We'll just make it simplify by taking the heading, taking the action, body, and the footer. The fourth step we're going to follow in this. So now here we have the title that is coming here, and we can move this A tag as well. I don't want my title to be clickable. If you want, we can give the user a choice. He can send the A tag from the outside. So here what we can do is we can convert this A tag to div, and this A tag as well div, and let's move the title, and let's remove the span, and here our header now this is the button, so this is the action basically, and I'll say here action come. Anyhow, this is the button, so I can write the button name as action. Now header is done. Then we need a body. For body, there is a class slds card underscore underscore body. So now body is ready. Here body will come, and then we need a footer. For footer, we have a class slds card underscore underscore footer. And if you are imagining from where I'm getting this class, I can show you. You can go back to the Lightning Design System library, and here you can look into the body class. Here is the body class slds card body, and if you look into the footer, there will be a footer class as well. So this is with footer. If I show the code here, you can see slds card footer, everything is there. I'll go back. Instead of div, we'll use a semantic tag footer and the footer. So now we have a footer, We have a body, we have a action, we have a header. I'll say here footer will come. So let's deploy and see whether that structure is looking good or not. So till now we just format the structure. We haven't done anything out of the box. Okay, so we just aligned it based on our need. So it's deployed now. Let's go back to our app, refresh the page. And it's looking totally weird. Let's inspect this and see why it's so. And first place, instead of inspect, I'll just comment our standard lightning component so that we can able to visualize our code better. Comment it out. I'll deploy it again. Now it's deployed. Let's refresh the page. And still it's looking the same. Let's go and see our code, what mistake I did. So this div is closing out, but this div has the class SLDS card header, so this should not close at the end. This should close immediately after header. So now the header is closing here, the body is closing here, and the footer is closing here. We can comment this header, body, and footer. So now we have a clear-cut separation for footer, for body, and for header and action. Let's go and deploy this again. Closing correctly now. So it's deployed. Let's refresh the page and see whether our card is looking better or not. And now you can see that our card is looking far better with the header, action, body, and the footer. So now let's see how we can configure this component in the same way the standard component is doing, like how we can pass header or like action or footer or body from the main component instead of hard coding inside our HTML. So here in the previous video we have seen how slots work, and slot is very much needed to build a reusable component. So here what we're gonna do is we will build the slots and the name slots. So I'll say slot name is title. I'll close the slot. I'll take the another slot and I'll remove this out. I'll say this slot should be action. Here the action should come, and then we'll take the another slot, put a footer. I'll say whenever somebody say I'm passing the slot to the footer, that should come here. And if somebody didn't pass anything, it will come to the body. So this is unnamed slot. In the previous video we learned about named slot and the unnamed slot. So if the slot has an attribute name, these are the name slot. If you don't have any name, it will be unnamed slot. So we map the slots here now. Let's go to our HTML and see how we can pass this data. Now I'm back to the HTML and let's copy the same code that our standard component was capturing. So let's pass the same code. The slot is title. In our HTML also the slot is title, then the slot name is actions. Here is also actions. Then in action we are passing the lightning button. Then we have a footer. Footer we are passing the h6, this is footer. And in the body, if we don't pass any slot tag with the tag, it means it will go to the body. So this is the body. Let's deploy and see if we able to achieve the same output similar to the standard one. Deploy, and it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. And now you can see that it's giving us the same output that we were getting from the standard component. So till here it's okay, but let's test some couple of scenarios. Okay, so this is the first card. Let's copy this card again and remove the footer. And let's Copy the same card again and remove the action. This card is without action. This card is without footer, and let's create one more in which we'll remove footer as well as body. They will pass only heading. This card only in title. So now all the variation we are trying to cover and see which one is working fine and which one is not working fine. So let's deploy this and see how it looks. So we have created 1, 2, 3 and 4 card. So the first card is the standard card that's in which everything is working fine. Now the remaining 3 we're gonna test. So now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. So there should be a 4 cards there. So the first card we know already is rendering perfectly fine. So this is the second card in which we hide the footer, but there is a line coming for the footer. So we need to handle this scenario as well. Then without action it's rendering properly, and without title still the footer is coming. So the only scenario that we have to handle is the footer. Let's go and see how we can handle the footer scenario. Let's go to our reusable component, that is custom lightning card, and here this class gives us the padding as well as the border by default. So if I go and show you how it gives, so I'll do right click inspect. I'll go and see how footer looks. I'll go on the footer tag, and here you can see that this class gives by default padding top, padding right, bottom left, margin, and so many things. We have to hide this class, make it workable. So if I remove this class, see everything is working fine. So what we're gonna do is we'll create or we'll use the class slds hide. So it will hide by default the footer always, and we're gonna use the power of slot change. There is a method that we learned in the previous video, that is on slot change, which will get called whenever somebody pass something to the slot name footer. We'll say on slot change handle slot footer change. So this method gets called whenever somebody pass. By default this footer will be hidden because of this class. As soon as somebody pass something, what we're gonna do is we'll say const footer element equal to this dot template dot query selector, and we'll call that footer. There is a tag here, so we are calling the footer tag, and we'll say if element is available, then go to the element dot class list. This is the way how you can see the all classes available to an element, and we'll call a remove method, and we'll say remove this class. So this class gets removed only if somebody pass something to the plot. I'll go to the JS and I'll remove this, and now our footer will also work. And to test that, before that, what I want to do is our components are stick to each other too much. So let's create a div here and say give some slds margin around medium, and I'll copy this 4 times so that our all 4 components can place in between. So the first one will go inside the first div, the second one will go inside the second div, the third one will go to third div, so that we able to differentiate. Actually, that's why I'm giving some div with a margin around medium. So now let's see how our component looks and whether the footer is working fine or not. And now it's deployed. Let's see our component again. And now you can see that title is coming, button is coming, button is action basically, body is coming, and the footer is coming. This is the component with everything. Then we remove the footer. Now footer is hidden, so everything is perfectly aligned. Body you can align automatically once you put your tag within the SLDS padding, or you give some margin, you can handle it from the outside, so we don't need to do anything specific inside our component, reusable component. Then we just hide the action and the footer is coming, and then we remove body, action and footer, only the card is coming. So that's how we build the reusable component. And I showed you the component that built by Salesforce, and we build the same component in our way, basically the custom way. So these are the steps we follow for all kind of reusable component, and always look for the classes that are given in the Lightning design system to get the same look and feel. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. In this video, we'll talk about Aura coexistence. So till now we have seen how we can communicate from parent component to a child component and child component to parent component in Lightning Web Component. But in real time or real projects, we always have a scenario we have to communicate between Aura component and Lightning Web Component, and there the Aura coexistence comes. So the first point here is the Lightning Web Component and Aura component can work together. Aura component can contain Lightning Web Component. However, the opposite doesn't apply. So that's a very important point from the interview point of view as well, and from programming point of view as well. So you can embed your Lightning Web Component inside the Aura component, but you can't embed Aura component inside the Lightning Web Component. Just remember this red color line. Lightning Web Component can't contain Aura components. So if you look at this diagram, the blue color is my Aura component. Within the Aura component, I can embed as many Lightning Web as I want. So let's go to our VS Code and see how we can achieve this. So I'm in my VS Code, and let's create a component here. So we need two components. First is the Lightning Web component. So I'll go and create a Lightning Web component. I'll give this name LWC Aura Communication. Now my component is ready in the LWC folder, and I need one Aura component, and for that you need to go to again command palette, search for Aura and select create Aura component, and then give the name Aura LWC communication. Make sure your name should be unique in LWC as well. You can't give the same name to Aura component as your Lightning Web component name. Both names should be unique. So, and in Aura component, we usually give the name with a capital letter. So I'll go with this Aura LWC communication. I'll take the default path that is under the Aura component or Aura folder. So now my Aura component is ready. So let's go first to our LWC component and create a lightning card here. And instead of lightning card, what we can do is we'll create a div here, and we'll say hello from LWC. And what we can do is we can go back to our Aura component and go to the .cmp file. So cmp file is a component file where we write our HTML. And here what we're gonna do is we'll start typing our layout. So first thing, we want this component to place in a lightning page. So for that, what we'll do is we'll say implements, like we do for our lightning web component. We place few things in the meta file, like we set is exposed, then we'll set the targets. If you want your Aura component to be exposed, you have to set the implement. So here I'll say sexy page colon, I can say available for all page type. so it will be available for all page types. And then what I want is I want a lightning card, and here if you observe, everything is coming with the colon, but in the lightning web component we use everything with the hyphen. So in lightning web component we define lightning hyphen card, but in aura component we use colon. We'll say lightning colon card. We'll say the title here, we'll give this name aura LWC communication. Then I have the card, then I will create a div here, and I'll create some padding, and I'll use the same class SLDS padding around size medium. Now my div tag is ready, and within this we'll write our logic. And what we're gonna do is, our first step is to demonstrate we can embed lightning web component inside the aura component. So we're gonna call our lightning web component. So if we have to embed a lightning web component inside a lightning web component, we'll use C hyphen and the component name. But here, as I said, every hyphen should be replaced with a colon. So here we'll call it as C colon, and then our component name, that is LWC aura communication, and that's it. And in lightning web component, if I have to call this, how we usually call this, we'll say C hyphen, and we'll replace each capital letter to small letter with a hyphen, like this, right? So but here we'll not change that casing. In aura, whenever we embed the lightning web component, we'll keep the name as it is and C colon in front of it. So now both the component is ready, so let's deploy them, and we'll run the same command sftx force source push. So the both component deployed. Let's go to our app. In the app, I'm in the component communication page. I'll go to the gear icon, click edit page. We'll place this component here. As we already placed the implements in the top of our aura component, our component should be visible here. So we'll search for our component name, that is, we'll go quickly and see the name, that is aura LWC communication. I'll search for aura LWC communication. Here is my component. I'll drag it to the right hand side. I'll hit save. Let's go back. Now you can see that this is our lightning web component. We have given the message in the lightning web component, and we embed the lightning web component in our aura component. So the composition is working fine. So let's see how we can pass the data. So I'll go back to the component. If I want to pass the data, I'll say title. In title I want to pass hello, this message from aura. So we pass the message in the same format with the attribute, and the same attribute we're gonna use in our lightning web component to cache the data. We come here and we already know how to cache the data. We have to create a public property using @API, and the API should be imported from the LWC module. And then what we have to do is we can print this in our HTML, and we'll replace this static text and say whatever the message comes, receive that and render in the HTML. Let's deploy and see whether the data passing is working fine or not. Now it's deployed. Let's refresh the page. Now we should see a different message, and the message is hello, this message is from aura. So that message is passing correctly. So we have seen now how aura can pass the message to a lightning web component. Now we'll see how we can pass the message from lightning web component back to the aura. Let's go back to our component, and pass we need a event. So we'll create a button in our lightning web component. So I'll say variant brand, I'll say label send message, and I'll say on click call aura, and we'll close the button. So now our button is ready, and we're gonna create this handler in our JS file. I'll create this, and now we're gonna create an event. So we'll create a custom event here. So to create a custom event, we'll use new custom event, then we'll pass the event name. I'll say send message is my event name. Then it will take the second parameter is the detail. So in detail, I'll say I want to pass a property message, and that will contain hello from LWC. So now we have created the event, and say const event, and we're gonna dispatch this event now using this dot patch event and pass that event. So here we created a custom event, and the custom event name is a send message. So now my component in the aura should able to receive this message, right? So listen this event. Let's go to the aura component. We'll say here where we have our lightning web component, here I'll say on send message. So we already know whenever we pass an event, it should start with the on when we define that event name in the HTML. We'll say on send message. Send message is the custom event that we have created. And here what we're going to do is we'll say call a method in a JS. So to create a method in Aura, we have a different syntax. So it should be in the quotes. Then within the bracket, we have to use exclamation mark. We have to tell controller dot method name. So C donates here the controller. In the controller, go and call the method handle message. So let's go and create a handle message in the controller, and to find the controller, go to the folder called controller.js, to file controller.js, and here it's some default code is there. We'll change this default name to our method name. It will receive first argument as component, second one is event. Let's remove the helper, we don't need helper. And then what we're going to do is we'll create a property message. We'll create a variable first, and we'll store the message that is coming from the lightning web component, and to fetch that message we use get param, and param should be the message that you're passing. If you look at your JS file, you're passing the param as message. So here we're gonna use give me the message that is coming in the event form. I'll store it in the message. And now if I want to show it in my component, suppose I want to show it above this, I'll create another div here, and here I want to print that message. To print the message, I need to create an attribute on the top. So first I'll create a container that will hold this message and store or show on the HTML. For that I'll say aura attribute. Name of that attribute is message. I'll create this type string, and let's close that attribute. Now this attribute we're gonna use this attribute to cache the message that is coming. So we'll come back to the JS file. We'll say component dot set the message to v dot message. So this attribute is started with v means the view is used whenever we want some property to display in the HTML. So it's called help us in data binding, and we'll say to this property that the message that has come. So basically this message has that message that is coming from LWC. Now this message property will display in the HTML, and to display it what we're gonna do is we'll say if and here I'll say the view dot my property name message. So if you're calling a JS file method, then it will be colon C. If you're calling a view, then colon V. So the message is bind to this property, and that bind message is showing on the HTML now. So let's deploy and see how it works. Now it's deployed. Let's go and refresh the page. And now here you can see that this is the message that we are passing from Aura component to a Lightning Web Component. So this area, this text as well as the button is from Lightning Web Component. Right now no message is coming here because we haven't sent any message from Lightning Web Component to Aura component. And to pass the message we have to click on the button. So let's click on the button send message, and as soon as I send, it will receive by the event.getParams, and that message gets set to a message property, and that message property is on the HTML, and that's what it's showing. Whatever the message we are passing, it's showing. So now you have seen in this small demo how you can embed the Lightning Web Component inside the Aura component, how you can pass the data from Aura component to Lightning Web Component, and how you can trigger an event from Lightning Web Component to Aura component, and you can pass the data. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. In this video, we'll talk about Lightning Messaging Service. So the Lightning Messaging Service is the first Salesforce technology that enables you to communicate between Visualforce pages, Aura component, and Lightning Web Component anywhere in Lightning pages, including utility components. So in Salesforce, we have three programming models to create the user interface. So the first programming model is Visualforce page, second one is Aura component, and third one is Lightning Web component. So till now, we are able to communicate between Visualforce pages. We can able to communicate easily between the Aura components, between the Lightning Web components. But there was a challenge when we try to communicate from Visualforce page to Aura or Visualforce page to LWC or vice versa. So there are some alternatives approaches, but each approach is unique and not standardized. So every time you have to learn a different way to communicate from Aura to Visualforce page, LWC to Visualforce page, and passing the data or a message was very challenging. To standardize this, Salesforce come up with this solution called Lightning Messaging Service that gives you a standardized approach to communicate the data or to pass the data from anywhere to anywhere, from LWC component 5 to Visualforce page 1, or from Visualforce page 1 to Aura 5. Any component, anytime you can pass using the Lightning Messaging Service. To use this, we have to use the Winter 20 Salesforce release. So let's go and how we can set up this Lightning Message Service in our project. So there are some steps and we have to follow these steps very carefully. So the first step is we have to create a folder called message channel, and that folder we have to create under the path force app slash main slash default. So let's go to our VS Code and create a folder under the force app main default. So I just closed everything in my folder structure, and now I'll go to default and create a folder, and I'll give the folder name message channels. So the name should be same. So first step is done. We have created the folder message channels. Let's go to our slides and see the second step. Now we have to create a file. Start with the channel name dot message channel hyphen meta dot xml inside that folder. So suppose if I want my channel name to be sample message channel, so the file name will be sample message channel dot This is the extension and it should be always same, dot message channel hyphen meta dot xml. So if you look at this folder structure, I already created under the message channels. We have to create our message channel file. This simple message channel is your name, whatever name you want to give. So let's go and create this file as well. So I'll select this, I'll say add new file, and I'll give this name sample message channel dot message channel hyphen meta dot xml. So our file is ready, meta file. Right now it's empty and there is no shortcut way to create this file, so we have to do it right now manually. Maybe in the future there will be a way. So now let's move to the third step. Now we have to add some meta configuration, XML definition of the channel file. So let's go and add this. You can copy paste this configuration from your documentation of Lightning message channel as well. Two things are very important. So if I comment this out, these are the standard tags. This is the standard Lightning message channel tag and all. These are some meaningful and important tag that you have to configure. So the master label is the name of your channel. So in our case, our channel name is sample message channel. So I have given the master label name sample message channel. I want my message channel to be exposed. Yes, I want, so that other component can use this. Then you can describe the description of this message channel, and we are saying message channel to pass the data. Then we have to create the message field. You can create as many as you want number of fields. So here I'm creating a field name LMS data, and I'm defining some description for this field. This is the field to pass the data. You can create another field if you want, like record ID, and this is a field to pass record ID. Like this, you can create as many fields as you want. Now, this field name should be unique, and this is the field name that we're gonna use basically to pass the data. Right, you should not create two same field with the same name like this LMS data. It should be unique within the Lightning message field. So in this demo, we are just gonna use only one field, that is LMS data, and this field we're gonna use in our whole project to pass the data. So now let's go back to our slide. So our third step is ready. We add the following XML definition to message channel file. Now the fourth step is, now we have to tell our project structure that we have this file and we have to update our manifest slash package.xml file by adding the Lightning message channel. So let's go to our manifest. If you close everything, and then you will see a manifest folder here. In manifest, you have to select package.xml, and under the package.xml, you have to define the file name. We'll say here first, say types, and copy this as it is, that's better. And then what we have to do is change the static resource name to Lightning message channel. So this is our meta description here, and this is the Lightning message channel. Now we have added this. So let's go to our slide and see the last step, that is the API version should be above 47 and above. Let's go to our package.xml and see the version. So our version is 49, that is obviously above than 47. So to work with Lightning message channel, we have the version should be greater than 47, so it's there. So these are the steps that are required to set up the Lightning message channel. Let's go and deploy this. And to deploy, you just type sftx4 source push, and now you see it's deployed successfully. So that's it for this video. In next video, we'll see how we can use this lightning message service that we have set up. I'll see you in the next video.